With the trade deadline passed, we're officially halfway through the 2023 NFL season. And halfway through the season, there are 10 absolute truths that have to be acknowledged about the league and the teams in it. Number 1, Mike McDaniel deserves Coach of the Year, and it's not even close. He has brought over the Shanahan-style offense with his own little twist and made Tua the most efficient passer in the league. He leads the NFL in yards and touchdowns, while he's 4th in completion percentage and almost outside the top 10 in pass attempts. This is the same quarterback that in his first 2 seasons had below a 4% touchdown percentage and averaged just 6 yards per attempt. The run game is outstanding, and it doesn't matter who they have back there. Not to mention, McDaniel has become a social media sensation in his own right, between funny press conferences, mic'd up sessions, and dancing pre-game. I love that he's making football fun. Number 2, the league doesn't have one true dominant team. The best record in the league currently rests with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 7-1, and even they had to go to overtime to beat the Commanders. There are definitely still some bottom dwellers looking at the Panthers, Cardinals, and Bears, although perhaps Chicago has found their franchise quarterback, looking at you, Tyson Bagent. But this NFL season, I feel confident that there are up to 8 different teams that could win it all, and I wouldn't be surprised. Whereas in years past, I felt like there were maybe 3 or 4 at this point in the season. What's that? You want me to list them? I got you. From the NFC, you have the aforementioned Eagles, the 49ers despite their current losing streak, the Cowboys, assuming they figure out how to win in January, and Detroit. In the AFC, you have the obvious choices in the Chiefs and Bills, but also the Ravens, Dolphins, and Jaguars, who are all tied at the top of the conference. It's going to be a great rest of the season and playoffs to figure out who deserves the championship. Coming in at number 3 on our absolute truths list, Will Levis is better than Ryan Tannehill. Sure, he didn't throw 4 touchdowns in his second start, but he still threw for 262 yards against one of the best defenses in the league. He also looks for DeAndre Hopkins often, which is the smart thing to do when he's on your team. I don't know if he's a franchise quarterback yet, but he's got real talent, is tough as nails, and deserves to start the rest of the season. 4. The Raiders organization might be in the worst shape of any franchise in the league, and that includes the Browns, who, if you remember, gave Deshaun Watson the biggest guaranteed contract in NFL history. The Raiders beat that by owing more money to John Gruden and Josh McDaniels than the Bills owe to Josh Allen over the next 2 years. 5. It's time for Bill Belichick to retire. I know he wants to prove that he can win without Tom Brady, but shouldn't Robert Kraft have already figured out that he can't? I mean, he builds his own team and has chosen to roll with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi at quarterback, with Kendrick Bourne as his chosen number 1 wide receiver. He can't make good personnel decisions or coach his team to the playoffs anymore. Brady has been gone for 3.5 years, and in that time, the Patriots are 27-31. He's had 1 winning season during that time, compared to 0 losing seasons in the 19 seasons with Brady. I think the chicken or the egg argument has been settled. For number 6, I want to apologize to Bengals fans everywhere. When I did my video where I read you the script of what was going to come this season, I told you that the Bengals were going to miss the playoffs. Perhaps I should have been more clear. That wasn't a prediction. That was an absolute certainty. Joe Burrow does not look right. Jamar Chase is frustrated, and the rest of their division got better. They're on a 3-game win streak, but Buffalo, Baltimore, and Jacksonville are all coming in the next 5 games. They could go from 4-3 to 5-7 really quick. Better luck next year. 7. Anthony Richardson only appeared in 4 games and didn't finish 2 of them. He's still the best quarterback out of the 2023 draft. I know the injury he has is what essentially ended Cam Newton's career, but Richardson is far younger and should recover completely. If he can stay healthy, then his floor is peak Cam Newton. He has a very similar throwing style with similar size and strength, but far greater speed and agility. If he can get even a little touch on his throws, then you could see a bit of Lamar. Imagine if Lamar had Cam Newton's size and strength. After watching Richardson through 2 full games, I can see it coming for him. On to number 8. If the running back on your team isn't named Christian McCaffrey, don't give him a big contract, and don't draft him in the first round. You can get just as much production from that 5th round rookie, undrafted free agent, or Zach Moss. Zach freaking Moss is 3rd in the NFL in rushing yards, and the Colts just paid Jonathan Taylor a significant amount of money to come in and share carries with him. I'm sorry, I'm pro players getting their money and holding out for whatever they deserve, but the running back position in today's NFL is in a place where only the absolute elite of the elite make a significant difference over the course of a season. The vast majority of the top rushing leaders are on rookie contracts. Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, who also got good deals, are outside the top 15. Devon Achane, who only played in 4 games this season, is in the top 10 and is a rookie 3rd round pick. 9. NFL referees need to be held accountable for calls that change the outcomes of games, especially calls or non-calls in the fourth quarter and on final drives. Perhaps it's the social media age, but this year more than most, I've noticed very specific, egregious calls or lack thereof in the closing minutes of games that clearly altered the ending in one team or the other's favor. The missed holding call in the Chiefs and Jets game, the Devontae Smith non-catch against the Commanders, or even no PI called against the Bills on the Baker Mayfield Hail Mary. It seems that refs can miss all the calls they want, and even if the NFL comes out the next day and states that it was a miss, you'll still see that same officiating team out on the field the following Sunday. I'd be for fines or suspensions in these cases. And lastly, at number 10, Aaron Rodgers is quite possibly not human. The Jets have somehow stayed above 500 and in the playoff hunt with Zach Wilson at quarterback. Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles on the first drive in Week 1, and there appears to be a real chance that he might return this season. The Jets have a top 10 defense with their offense going 3 and out over and over again. If they had a quarterback who could put points on the board and sustain drives, then they'd be nearly impossible to beat. If Rodgers comes back this season in playing shape, and if the Jets make the playoffs, give me them to win it all and complete the greatest single season story of all time.